Guys, thanks for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. We are presented by BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football.
Football's back.
Football is back.
Kind of. It's on its way back.
It's almost there.
The preseason, it's like third string guys. They're trying to make the team. It's not really back, but it's almost back.
Everybody's getting their drafts together.
That's right. You got to get your draft together. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played.
Think you know your stuff? Get in on our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL survival pool for the upcoming season.
It's a lot of cheese, Kevin. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games.
That's pretty slick. I try to get them all done.
That's right.
Head to the website today and use the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to get in on the action.
BetOnline. The game starts here.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
How are you? How are you on this
I'm
fine?
doing good. Hi to everybody.
Tuesday.
I hope you guys everybody's getting back to school. I think some people are probably close to being there. I think, it starts this week.
I feel like we start. What do we say this every year? It feels like we start early here.
I remember in Massachusetts, it started the week before a holiday weekend, which is where we're headed into Labor Day. And
The week before, I know. And then you're like,
that was great because then you started on a Wednesday. You did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you had a 3-day week, and then you had a 4-day week, and then you had a weekend.
It was
great.
Dipping your toes into
It
school
was great.
again. The parents are like, can we please just take our kids and drop them off over there and not come get them for a week?
Well, yeah, now I have the parent perspective. It's
the
different.
parent
It's not
perspective
great.
is much different. When you're a kid, it's like, this is great, man. I'm barely going to school.
It's great.
That's when it really hits with for the kids if they like their teacher and not 3 weeks into school when it's like, oh yeah, that's right. This is my life again.
Yeah, once you're
This
three
is my
full
life
weeks
again. Yeah, once you're 3, yeah.
Full weeks. Well, I hope you guys, the listeners, I hope you guys are handling it okay. Hope it's going well.
It's not. It's probably not, but hopefully it is.
The beginning's okay. The beginning's
Spending is not too bad.
fine.
It's not. It's fine.
It's fine. Getting adjusted. They still like their teachers. They still like school. It's fine.
And you immediately don't like their teachers because the first day of school, they're like, Mom, you have a packet to sign, and it's 35 pages of stuff you got to fill out for the teacher.
It's a lot of safety stuff.
I have homework on the first day.
Yeah.
But you know what that means, Kevin? It means you're probably going to make a lot of dumb parenting moments, a lot of dumb dad moves out there.
I think so. I think that's what we're going to do today. Today we're going to get into our Dumb Dad moments early.
Yeah.
So we can get to some of those submissions we've been meaning to get to in
That's
the
right.
past and see how that goes. See how that feels. Maybe
you
that's
know what?
the new
Because it's
format.
fun
We'll
to
see.
read. It's fun to read other people's dumb
So
dad
fun to
moments.
read
It's
other-
so fun to read them.
Other moments.
I'll jump right off the top here with the dumb
Please.
dad. My dumb dad moment this week is brought to you by organization or hopeful organization.
Yeah.
Thinking about organizing.
Okay.
So, I mean, my wife and I talked about it a couple different times before school started,
Uh-huh.
especially in my daughter's room, which is a little tight, but she's also small, so it works.
She's very tiny.
But it was still the desk I had put together for her that I sort of built a little desk in between these 2 tall bookshelves, when we moved into our house and all that stuff. I mean, it's just a dump zone for her bedroom and,
Yeah. We all have dumb zones.
we all got dump zones, but when it's your one place to work or sit and color or whatever you want, that's your dump zone is just oh man, your room is collecting stuff that you don't need anymore. Then it became, so what I was saying was my wife and I talked about it a couple times, we got to get her ready for school. We got to go through her stuff, help her do that. And then school came and it was we really should utilize the time when she's in school to be going through. So one of the days I decide to go through and work on that stuff. Now, here's the dumb dad moment.
Yeah.
Just thinking I'll just spend a couple hours doing it and get it done.
A couple hours doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even close to enough time, which meant...
What are you doing to this desk that a couple hours won't organize your desk?
Because one thing leads to another. First,
you got distracted
by everything else in her room.
You started organizing marker colors.
Well, yeah. First of all, it's there's 1,000 pencils in here.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I do is just organize everything that's everywhere. So it's here's all the stuff that should be desk bound.
Uh-huh.
Here's all the loose toys that are in the bookshelf and in the drawer of the desk. And tucked under the desk. And so put all the toys in a pile. It's like that takes 90 minutes
Yeah.
for the most part. Then it's like at least a half an hour of like, okay, there's so many duplicates of pencils here. So many of them are broken. So many of them don't have erasers. Like garbage. You know,
Sure.
like you need like 10 pencils. But she has
Yeah.
every pencil from every birthday party she ever went to all over her room, you know? So
Well,
it's
that's
like,
nice.
let's
Those
just
are memories that you're throwing away. But okay.
let's consolidate some of this stuff. But the dumb dad moment was just thinking that, like, yeah, I'll just, what is it, noon? I'll knock this out and have her room like it's like, you know, one of those TLC TV shows where like she comes into a room with her eyes closed after school and it's like a whole new room in 2 hours. No,
It's a screen wipe.
no. So it's like 3 days of it. To where my dog, like, and there's like, and the piles and stuff I organized on her floor, they're still just on the floor.
They're still, as of the recording.
No, they were like, you know, 2 days into it. It's like they're still there. And then at one point also like there was books everywhere too. So it's like I got to put the books back in the bookshelves. Well, she's been getting more books. And so there's like not really enough room for more books. Why do we still have the board books?
We still have the board
She doesn't
books.
need board books.
We all
We
have
can
board
pull out
books.
the board books, make a pile of the board books. You know, my wife like 3 days into it, it's like, what's the deal with the books on the floor in her room? And I'm like,
So how
I
much?
haven't gone through it.
Now here's the real question to dig into the kind of twist the dumb dad moment knife.
Go for it, pal.
How much of it was diligent working, or did you get just like distracted by like unnecessary tasks?
Well, I can't tell you that. I was in my own space in there.
That's what I just mean. I think.
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I will say, I do think that when it comes down to it, am good at going through things, organizing where they need to go, deciding what is worth keeping and not keeping, given the space you have.
Yeah.
But I don't do it very quickly.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of that too.
Sure.
I am also diligent in the process of doing that because I don't like doing things 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like if I could just get rid of 25% more than I even thought I was going to get rid of, now we're ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff that was also like, I can't make that decision without consulting my wife.
That's the problem with kids.
there's
There's a
like-
lot of those. I can't make that decisions. There's a lot of those with kids.
Yeah,
their
and
kids'
it was
stuff.
like a pile of like 6 board books that have one sentence on the page. But ultimately, it was like, we're going to keep those because like each of these, I can tell you which of our friends gave this to you. Mm-hmm. So those are worth keeping for like mementos and stuff.
Yeah.
When you're like, but when it's like, bought this at the book fair 2 years ago, haven't touched it or been asked to read it, donate that book, stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, I've definitely hesitated on books like that because there's part of you that's also like, oh, this was like your favorite book. We read it like a million times. And now that we're not reading it a million times, I actually like it.
Yeah, and like
I'm fond of it.
I'm more than happy to figure out a way to keep our collection of Mo Willems, Piggy and Gerald, Durant the Pigeon Jar, the Bus Stories.
Mm-hmm.
Those were straight up memory builders. We read those. Still read them. We still read those.
Yeah, we still read
So
that.
not only we still read them, but it's like those are just straight up memory builders.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there is stuff, you know, you think like someday they'll have kids maybe. So we'll have a little trunk of toys that they played with. It'll be fun to take them out like as parents do. Those are like, to me, like straight up Bluey toys. Like I'm not really probably going to get rid of Bluey toys.
Okay.
Such a strong memory with our family, a good moment. They'll have other stuff that they played with we will also keep, but I'm like, there will be like a trunk of Bluey stuff. So when they open that up even when they're older and they look at me like, man,
Yeah.
those were the days. All I had to do was worry about whether or not I was getting dressed, taking my pajamas off and putting clothes on, eating something and playing with toys and Bluey and watching like.
Yeah.
So that's probably part of the distraction is because your kids grow up so fast that they age out of little things in their room that they don't play with anymore. And then you're now as the parent, you're like pulling out these memories and looking at stuff and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hard thing to do as well.
That's what I mean.
I should have hired you. Like I can come over to your kid's house and do it in 2 hours. Like, nope.
Exactly. And
Because I would have no attachment to any of it. And then you could just go through the bags and be like, no, we're not getting rid of this. We're not getting rid of this.
my wife and I, we still haven't done it either. Like I totally sympathize with you not doing it for so long. We need to clean their room. And we were talking about the other day and we were like, if it's not a dinosaur, get rid of it. My daughter doesn't play with anything. She either draws or writes and reads. That's
Yeah.
she doesn't play with toys anymore. So it's just like, man, we could probably get rid of all this. And if I was going to keep a trunk of toys stuff, it would be the dinosaurs anyway. Bluey was a big part of our life, but yeah, we don't. they weren't big on the toys for them, even though we have them. But it's definitely like the dinosaurs. That'll be the one. My son's
The
still
other set, we
obsessed.
have a pretty good collection of like the Toy Story toys, like of all the little characters. And it was like, I can't get rid of those. Because those are also like introducing my kids to Toy Story and them falling in love with it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I think the first one came out in 95 or something like that. So I was like a freshman in high school, but it was still like, I was young enough to see that movie, even though I was like a freshman, but also like that movie just defined how I felt as a child, like immediately. Still does and does for them.
Yeah.
So like, those are like, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not great at just being like, I haven't seen it in a while, get rid of it. I'm not good at doing that.
So are you done cleaning?
I got probably 75% of the way there where it was like, let's just put the stuff away and attack it a different day. We don't need to go that far into it. But desk was clear, prepped for school.
Yeah.
Bookshelf was able to don't need enough books to where some of the stuff that we were having trouble finding now are in like bookshelf spaces. So like definitely made a big improvement.
Love it.
One of the days my daughter came in after school, it was probably like day 2, and she was like, why are you organizing in here?
Because you won't.
Because you don't know how. That's fine. But also, why don't you play with any of this stuff anymore?
I mean, they know how to organize. Kids learn early on. They put their cars in color order. They know how to organize.
They know
They
how to
don't
organize.
want to. That's the difference.
Nor do they feel like they have to.
No.
No.
No, they know you're going to do it.
No. Over the
That's
course
the
of a
hard
week.
part of parenting. You're like, you're right, and it makes me angry. Well, that's good. My dumb dad moment is brought to you by the Tooth Fairy.
Okay.
So feel free to pause this for another time if you have littles around or stuff. We're just going to talk about something for a minute.
We're going to talk about one of our favorite characters, one of our favorite
One of our
revisiting
favorite
characters.
and it's been parents only.
That
Parents only portion
that
of the
diligently
podcast. All right.
flies around and collects children's teeth.
Moving
on.
Who doesn't, you know? We've all had that hobby. So my daughter, it was actually a couple dumb dad moments that were pretty funny. One was mine. One small one was my wife. So my daughter lost a tooth recently, and pretty exciting stuff. They're all just coming out. So it was funny because she had this thing hanging on forever, and we were just like, would you just take it? You're old enough to take this out. This isn't negotiation. Like, I know, like, your daughter you'd have to aggressively brush her teeth to get them to pop off.
She has one like that now again. It's just like,
and she's young enough that it's
pointing
like,
at me.
oh, fine, because they're a little freaked out by it. And it's fair that my daughter's still a little freaked out.
Sure.
I'm not judging her for it.
Sure.
But she was a little freaked out, but I was like, do you remember the last time you had a loose tooth? I just went and pushed it right out. And she was just like, I know. So she let me do it once and go, no. And she's freaking out. I'm like, okay, it's fine.
She's like, yeah, I do remember that. Core memory. Hated every second of it.
Yeah.
I remember that like it was 5 seconds ago, and you will never get within 6 feet of my...
Yeah.
You're not happening. Not happening.
So my dumb moment was, so she gets her money. She gets her, she got her $5 because that was mom's dumb dad moment. She is both of our dumb dad moments where it was just like, oh God, do you have money? And she's like, it's a $5. And I was like, all right.
It's a $5.
Which is fine, because then you can kind of just be like, yeah, you really held on to that tooth and you were very brave to take it out. You just make an excuse for why this one's worth more.
We usually just go with the, oh man, that must have been a nice one.
Yeah. So, so she gets a $5 and then, so then I had to take her to the doctor's, and I go to the doctor's office, and at this doctor's office, they have a parking lot that you have to pay, and they don't have validation, and that's a whole other rant. It's fine.
Yeah.
We get medical facilities where you have to pay a copay, but you also have to pay to park. Burn them all down.
Is wild.
Wild.
Just tack on $5.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when I leave, I'm like, at least it's free parking.
Yeah. So my daughter and we go to the doctor's. Everything's dandy. And then we leave and we get in the car and we pull up to the area, cash only. Pull up to the area.
Obviously.
Yeah, of course it is.
So what you're saying is...
So it could be off the grid. Oh, this is a legit business. But
Tooth Fairy also owns parking structures.
apparently. So then we pull up to it.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
So we pull up to the spot to pay. And the guy gets my ticket, and he's like, it's $5. And I was like, okay. And I pull out my wallet, and I look at it, and I was like, my wife didn't have $5. I had $5. She gave my daughter $5. I don't have any cash now. Who carries cash? I didn't have cash.
Was your kid in the car?
Yes, she sure was.
Did you go, man, I had a $5 bill in here last night?
No, I didn't do that. Didn't do that. Not that dumb.
And like a blue mark on it, I'm sure. Huh.
But I turned around to my daughter and I was like, hey, you get your wallet on you? And she's like, yeah.
In what world did she have her wallet on her?
She's been really excited about it.
That is lucky.
Yeah. And she's like, I do. And I was like, can I borrow $5? I'll give it right back. So then she gave me the $5 that someone gave her. And then I gave it to the parking attendant, which I don't know what she thought I meant when I was like, can I borrow $5? And she's like, sure. And I was like, I'll pay you back.
She thinks you're going to hand it right back to her.
And the guy's like, and she goes, oh.
Yeah, she thinks you're going to look at it.
And I drove away. And I was like, I'm going to get you $5. And I got her $5. I found $5 for her.
Oh.
And I gave it to her. But it was just like.
What a mean trick.
It was a kick in the throat for her. That she was just like, sweet, I have $5 for. Oh, great. Now I'm just paying for everyone. You get a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And everybody wants a piece.
I don't want to make any money anymore.
Piece of the pie. But I was proud of her. Then she used that $5 that she got back that day to buy her and her brother one of those slushy ice things that they sell outside the school.
Yeah.
Shaved ice.
Yeah. Kona.
It's not Kona, but it's essentially
okay.
Kona.
Okay.
It's a little stand.
It's shaved ice with liquid
with
sugar on
just
it.
so much liquid sugar.
No matter
so
how you
much.
slice it.
So yeah, so that was my dumb dad moment, and it was pretty wild. It's pretty wild to be like,
I think I prefer.
It didn't. Even,
now I'm the dependent. Okay, I see.
It didn't even cross my mind. I knew I had a $5 bill in my wallet.
Yeah,
I knew I did. And when my wife says, I gave her a $5 bill, didn't even go, wonder if it was mine. Just pulling up to the place to pay and going, I don't have any money.
I'm in the Tooth Fairy's back pocket.
Hey, bud, I haven't lost a tooth in a long time. Do you think you could spot me? You're just shedding these things.
You look like you lost a couple recently.
Yeah. I'll rip one out now if I have to, but I'd rather not.
I'll do you got any
It's
pliers
still
on
it's overnight turnover. I need money now.
It's fantastic.
So that's our dumb dad moments. Now let's get into some of
yours. Now let's hear about yours.
Dumb parent moments.
Okay, so the dumb dad moment I'm going to read was sent to us by Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob. Rob says, hi, dads.
Hi. I already said hi, Rob.
This story is brought to you by not enough sleep and a cavalier attitude.
Okay. I like it so far.
Yeah. My infant, Rob writes, has begun teething and is not sleeping through the night as he had been. On this particular day, he had my wife and I awake all night. I survived my workday and returned home to pick up the kids from daycare to begin our evening routine. This night, however, I was on my own as my wife had an event to attend. I love this first sentence. I had no desire to cook the dinner we had planned.
We've all done that.
He already knows the evening he has signed up for.
We do that at the grocery store.
Yeah, I know. I'm tired from all the shopping. Let's order. So I thought I'd take the kids to dinner at my daughter's favorite restaurant. It's very kid-friendly, so it's like, what's the worst that could happen? Mm-hmm. My 8-month-old began his tantrum as I put him in the car seat, but quickly fell asleep on the drive, which I don't know if that's good or bad. Seems like it could be bad. Mm-hmm. Falling asleep on the way to dinner, I don't know.
8 months?
8 months old.
8 months you can keep asleep, though.
Maybe.
At the restaurant.
Well, let's move on to the story.
Yeah, let's get there.
Get to the restaurant. The noise immediately wakes up my son.
Never mind.
He lasts through the wait and even played with toys for a bit as my daughter and I eventually ordered. My son has come to really enjoy eating, which is good, and has a history of being fussy when other kids at daycare are eating and he's not eating. So I decide to hold him, hoping that soothes him, which works for a few minutes until he grabs a hold of my drink.
Nice.
You know where this is going. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a full, ice-cold glass of Dr. Pepper all over the table, all over himself,
Yeah,
and me, and our booth. Rob says, I do or normally order a beer, but since I was driving, I opt against it. Thank God. Because it would have just been covered in beer.
Beer-soaked kids.
He starts screaming. And as he's drenched in cold soda, I quickly prepare his bottle, which he partially takes.
Nice. Slight save.
Yeah. He has come to enjoy warm bottles and won't really eat it any other way. So my phone now becomes a TV screen for my daughter as I ask for the waiter to bring a cup of hot water for the bottle, forgetting to mention not to fill it up completely. Get the water, and since it's full, the bottle causes overflow right away. So now we're adding hot water to the mess. And now I'm trying to keep him from getting hot water on him, which means he's in one arm perched on top of the diaper bag while my other hand is cleaning the whole table. Of course, the baby is fighting me holding his bottle, and my daughter wants a different show, which of course means a new app that she can't open. This is just spiraling out of control so quickly.
This is a bad one.
The waiter comes by and offers a refill for my daughter's mac and cheese, probably because it was Dr. Mac and Cheese.
Yeah.
I asked for it to go, and if he could bring us our boxes for my food, which has just been sitting there through the entire ordeal, which felt like hours go by. The waiter seemingly forgets all about our last interaction. No food, no boxes. So I ask again for all of it. Thankfully, he comes back about 10 minutes later with all of it. I use the the table on the tablet to pay and add more than a gracious tip since the waiter had to mop and was helpful, albeit a little aloof. Place the baby back in the car seat quickly and try to scurry out with my white shorts now soaked and stained with Dr. Pepper color.
Oh, bud.
Get the kids to the house, give my son a bath and into fresh clothes, give my daughter her food that she thankfully and patiently waited for, and get myself out of my wet clothes. I heated up my burger, cracked a beer, watched your latest pod episode, and tried to laugh it all off because my other emotion was to cry. Thanks, exhaustion. But thankfully, a few laughs with you guys was just the relief I needed. Thanks for creating a show like this. I recommend it to my coworker dads all the time since I lack friends as a 36-year-old dad.
Yeah. It's
Rob
tough out there.
from New Jersey. Cheers.
Rob, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Rob, to you, man. Wow. This cheers to Rob. But so very well written account of that story because you feel like the hits keep coming the whole time. It's like,
yeah, that's a tough one, man. We've all
because he's like, let's see, where was it? Had no desire to cook the dinner we had planned. I wonder how many times he ran through that in his head as he was like, more napkins just because there's so much Dr. Pepper.
He ended up doing more work.
Work, like going all the way there, suffering through all that when it's like, just get the DiGiorno, slide that thing in the oven.
Oh, man. Thanks for sharing that.
It's
That's a tough one.
It's good.
All right. I'm going to read one here from Charlie. Hey, Charlie. He says,
Charlie?
Hello, Dumb Dads. While visiting my mother one day with my 2 children, my son was probably 4 and my daughter 1.5 at the time. My daughter threw up all over herself in her car seat just as we were getting ready to leave. She had just had a good-sized glass of chocolate milk, which was now stinking up my fairly new Jeep royally. I pulled the greatest dad moment of all time. I think you forgot to put a dumb in here.
You spelled dumb very weirdly.
Greatest. Dumb doesn't start with a G. I removed the entire car seat from my Jeep and threw it in the trash.
Okay.
That's what we call an overreaction. I made my
Or a confidently deep bank account.
Yeah. I made my 4-year-old son get out of his car seat so my daughter could sit in it and made my son ride the entire 45-minute ride home with just a seatbelt at 4.
At 4?
That's a gamble.
I don't know why we went to his mom's house. Why did we go?
I just found your podcast and I will be sharing many of my dad moments with you. Feel free to share if you'd like. I know they're not all gems. This one is a gem you threw out.
Threw it in the garbage.
in the garbage.
Do you know how many times I've learned the skill of like, now we're fortunately not in car seats anymore, but you learn how to take that thing off there, because what's hiding under that thing is an ecosystem of prior foods your kids have eaten. You need to get in there, clean that stuff, get the thing in the wash, put it back on. But the first couple times there's a lot of cursing.
There's a lot of cursing on the clips.
Probably, I guess, one round of cursing and less cursing, you just throw it in the garbage.
That is pretty wild.
Going against the grain on this, but when the Diono box shows up the 2 days later at the front porch, the wife is like, "What did you order?"
Yeah. Shh. It's a secret.
Nothing. We get this. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you. On the way to my mom's the other day, we lost one of the car seats.
Oh, the window is down and gone. It was wild.
Yeah. And how did you drive home? With who? Like, and then telling, just stuck little Benny in the 4-year-old in a belt, just a seat belt. Oh man,
that is
frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. I think is the right thing to say.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing, Charlie.
Charlie, you know the rest.
Wild. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for listening to these. Listen, we probably should just do this more because we talk about it all the time and then we don't. So it's fun to maybe rather than do like full episodes, just squeeze them in because they're fun to read.
I think so too. I think we should definitely do these every episode.
Oh man, thank you for sending them in, and send them in to us. dumbdadpod@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, if you have a dumb dad moment, you do. You have a dumb parent. You've done something stupid.
Yeah, we've got a backlog here. We are going to start getting through them regularly.
And you know which one to share with us. It's the one that is so dumb that you remember every detail of it.
Yeah. It's the one you tell everybody.
It's
you're a new parent. I got a story
for you. I got it, man. One time, I'll tell you what happened.
So
like when I threw away the
car seat. That's
a bold move.
We've all been there, but not all of us have gone there. You know what I mean?
Boy, what a poignant way to say that. That's 100% correct.
So, guys, keep sending them in. We'll keep reading them. Thanks to Ed Verdu on SoundCloud for the music for this podcast. Thanks, as always, to my wife, Annie, for editing this podcast. I think that's a good place to leave it. We'll read more in the future. Evan, you got something to...
I got a little joke for you. You ready? Speaking of getting things shipped to your house, what do you call two monkeys that share an Amazon account?
MailChimp?
No, close. I like that guess. Primates.
Primates.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. MailChimp's a real thing.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?
The Dumb Dad Podcast is proudly presented by Bet Online.